Hello students, today we are going to study the remaining part of the topic weather and climate. During the last lecture we have studied different factors required for growth of a plant, which include different weather factors or called as climatic factors. We have studied the factors like rainfall, sunlight, temperature, humidity, and various other factors. Now, today we are going to study the instruments which are to be used for measuring of weather elements. Now, there are different factors which are required for crop growth, but whether these factors are available to the crop in the required manner, that can be decided after measuring the particular factor. Now let us go one by one. The instruments, the first instrument, it is called Stevenson screen. Now this Stevenson screen, this instrument, it is a very important instrument used in meteorological laboratory, and in this instrument you can see in a photograph there are thermometers. Here you can see this is a one thermometer, this is another thermometer. In this case there are two kinds of thermometers, like they are called wet bulb thermometer and second is dry bulb thermometer. So these thermometers are used for calculation of humidity. Thermometer is used for calculation of reading of temperature, but when these two kinds of thermometers are used totally together and humidity is calculated. Now in this thermometer, now come to another, this is thermometer. We know that there is a clinical thermometer we use to record our body temperature. In the same way, this thermometer is used to measure atmospheric temperature. So this temperature is measured by thermometer. Now just we have studied that there are sensors or bulbs, they are having scales and they can be read from outside. So temperature in atmosphere can be measured like degree Celsius or degree Fahrenheit or degree Kelvin. Now this instrument is used many places, not only in meteorological laboratories but for scientific research at our domestic use also we can have it. Now here in this case, this in meteorology, this is used to record minimum and maximum temperature. Now this temperature also can be measured from soil. Now in this thermometer you can see at the bottom, you can see the recordings. There are various recordings, maximum, what was the maximum temperature and the time of that temperature can be recorded. It also can record the level of minimum temperature and when this minimum temperature was in the atmosphere, that also can be recorded. Now in this thermometer, see here, this is thermometer. Now another instrument, it is a rain gauge. From the name itself we can understand that this is used to measure the amount of rainfall. So it is called rain gauge. Now in this case of rain gauge, there are different kinds of rain gauge, but in all these rain gauges we can measure rainwater in millimeter, centimeter or in inches. Now have a look at this photograph. There are two kinds of rain gauges. One, it is a this is a non-recording gauge, and this is a self-recording gauge. Now this non-recording gauge, it means that in this rain gauge, whatever rainfall water is available, here it is a funnel, and there is a container cylinder is there, and this is taken out and the total quantity of water is measured. But in the self-recording rain gauge, there is a drum. This is a drum, and in this case of drum, there is a graph. Graph is available, and this graph indicates the temperature. Now, whatever kind of rain gauge it may be, we have to take care that when we place the rain gauge, it should not be placed under a tree, or it should not be placed in such place where the roof water is falling directly into the thermometer or that container. So when we take this care, then we can get a correct reading. Otherwise the reading may recorded be wrong. Now in this rain gauge, just we have studied these are two kinds. Now come to the another instrument, that is called rhinometer. Please have a look at pronunciation. It is called rhinometer. Now this instrument is used to record total incoming radiation. Now this is a radiation recorder. Radiation what we get from the sun, that is recorded, that is called rhinometer. Now this is a radiation, means it is a solar radiation. It is expressed in the terms of watt per square meter. Now this radiation is responsible for increasing or decreasing atmospheric temperature. So this rhinometer. Now come to another instrument, that is called sunshine recorder. It is also called heliograph. Now in this heliograph, you can see in the photograph that this instrument looks like a microscope, but here in this case there is a globe, this yellow marked globe. This is this globe is very important, and in this globe, here whatever the sunlight comes, that is recorded. At the bottom, here at the bottom, there is one graph paper, and whatever sunlight comes here, that is concentrated, and this concentrated sunlight burns the graph paper, and according to the intensity of sunlight, this burning takes place, and we can measure at what time what was the intensity of sunlight. So this is a sunshine recorder. It shows the duration of sunlight. Another instrument used for recording speed of wind and direction of wind, it is an anemometer and wind vane. These are two different instruments. Now what is the wind flow? That is called as wind velocity. So this wind flow or wind velocity we have to measure, and this is measured in the terms of meter per second, kilometer per hour, or miles per hour. So in any of the terms, any of the units, we can measure wind speed. Now this anemometer is a device that is used to measure wind speed or wind velocity. Now have a look at this picture. Now there are 4 cups. Now in these 4 cups, as per the direction, these 4 cups rotate, and rotating gives recording of speed of wind. Now in this anemometer, when the 4 cups move, So the rod attached to the cups also rotate, and it shows the speed of wind. As you have seen that our vehicles, auto vehicles, do have such kind of anemometer, but that is called speedometer. So that also indicates speed of wind. Along with this instrument, we have got another instrument. This is called wind vane. This is anemometer. It is wind vane. Now, in this anemometer, this is a there is an indicator. It indicates the speed of wind, and but in wind vane, it shows direction of the wind, north, south, west, or east, whatever may be the direction. So these are used to record wind speed and wind direction. Another instrument is psychrometer. It is also called hygrometer. There is a little difference. So this is used for relative humidity, to measure the humidity in the atmosphere. Why it is called relative humidity? Because this humidity is measured with comparison of another factor. So this relative humidity, this instrument, it is called hygrometer or psychrometer. Now there are two bulbs with thermometer. Just we have studied that wet bulb thermometer and a dry bulb thermometer. They totally calculate, and then by calculation we can understand what is the relative humidity in the atmosphere. So have a look at these instruments. Now dew gauge. Dew we notice during morning hours there is a dew falling, and this dew quantity of dew or amount of dew can be measured by using dew gauge. Now this is a very small instrument, and this it is measured in millimeter. Dew is measured in millimeter. So these are the various instruments used to measure various climatic factors, and these factors are important to be studied. Now a graph we can get from various instruments. Now have a look at this table. We have got weather elements, we have got instruments for measurement of the element and the units. So temperature is measured by thermograph or thermometer. It is in degree Fahrenheit, Celsius or Kelvin. Rainfall is measured by rain gauge, automatic rain gauge or Simpson rain gauge. It is measured in millimeter and centimeter. Solar radiation, light radiation, that is measured by rhinometer or heliograph. It is in watt per square meter. It is and the light duration of bright sunlight can be recorded. Wind velocity measured by anemometer in the units of knots per meter or kilometer per hour or miles per hour. Wind direction is measured by wind vane. So the wind direction may be east, west, north, south, or any another direction. Relative humidity is measured by psychrometer or hygrometer, and this is in percentage. Humidity is measured in percentage. Dew is measured by dew gauge in the units of millimeter. These were the instruments used to measure various climatic factors. Now let us come to weather forecast. You might have seen or heard from television or radio that weather forecasting is done at the end of the news story or news bulletin. Now, what is the weather forecasting? Weather forecasting is defined as prediction of the state of atmosphere for a given location and given time. So, means forecast says that tomorrow or after 2 days there may be heavy rainfall, there may be heavy wind speed, or there may be storm. Likewise, forecasting is done. So this is for a particular location for particular time, means for 1 days, 2 days, month, or it may be for another duration of time. So this is called weather forecasting, and weather forecasting has a particular uh, method, and by this method forecasting can be done. Now let us see how these are measured. There are different methods of forecasting. There is also importance of forecasting. Now firstly let us see what is the use of or importance of forecasting. So when we get the forecast or the farmers get forecast, they can plan cultivation of a crop. They can also select particular crops as per the forecast, or likewise it can be done. In this forecasting, weather forecasting, there are different factors, and by this way forecasting can be done. Now in our country there is a meteorological department. It is called Indian Meteorological Department. It was established in 1975 at Pune. Previously there was Agriculture Meteorological Division, and this division was established in 1932 for forecasting of weather. Now in this weather forecasting, this is very important part for agricultural cultivation. Now which are the types of weather forecasting? Now in these types there are two kinds of weather forecasting or types of weather forecasting. First, it is a short range forecasting, means these kinds are decided as per the duration. Now short range forecasting, this is for a day or at the most 2 days. So this is used for agriculture engineers and marines and farmers. Medium range forecasting, this is for a period of 3 to 10 days. Means up to 10 days forecasting can be done. Means up to the next 10 days what will be the state of the atmosphere, means rainfall pattern, storm, wind, humidity, whatever it may be. Third is long range forecasting. Now this long range forecasting, this is for more than 1 week. It means that we can forecast for the duration for 4 weeks from now. Means 4 weeks ahead, 1 month ahead, we can forecast the state of weather. So this is also very important. Now there are different methods of forecasting. Now first, there is a conventional or synoptic method. Now this method, it depends upon analysis of current weather report. Now what is done in this case? Conventional method, a report is taken of the last 10 years, 20 years, 50 years or 100 years, and as per the situation, what was the condition of atmosphere during the last 50 years in a particular area, that is predicted. At that way it is predicted. But this method is useful for short range forecast, but this is not a reliable method. This is just a thumb rule kind of method. Second is statistical method. Now this is based on equation. There are some sophisticated relationship is calculated between different weather elements, and by calculation, prediction or forecasting of weather condition is done. So this is for useful for short and long range forecasting. Now the third is numerical weather prediction technique. Now here the behavior of atmosphere is represented by some equations, and these equations are based on physical laws of air, means air pressure, air wind, direction, and many other parameters are used to calculate numerical weather prediction. So in these ways, these are the important methods of forecasting. So here we complete the topic of weather and climate, and in short we have studied what we have studied: definition of weather, definition of climate, definition of atmosphere. Different factors in climate are called climatic factors, effects of climatic factors on the plant growth, instruments used to measure various climatic elements or climatic factors, forecasting, definition of forecasting, kinds of forecasting, and methods of forecasting. So now this topic is over. Next time we shall go to the another topic. Till then, goodbye.